All right, I told you that there is a Lynn Pitt sighting. So for those of you who watched last year's Easter episode, the person who brilliantly brought it to life, and she's a genius when it comes to tablescapes. She's had her own business down in Charlotte, and I had the privilege of getting to know her when I spoke at an event she hosted called Come to the Table in Charlotte and you did it with another friend of hers. Incredible event with a few hundred women. It was so beautiful. But she stressed, why do we even gather around a table? It was just beautifully done. And she loaded up her car with unbelievable things to put on the table. And later she's going to be walking us through an Easter table, as well as, if you choose to have the kids at a separate table, a kids table, which is a little bit more fun and exciting for kids. So she's done all these beautiful things, as well as making table arrangements on the table. But you've also brought a recipe, which is this tart recipe originally from Barefoot Contessa, I believe.
Yes.
But she's tweaked a little bit for her own sake.
Her family.
And she's going to walk us through how to do it. And while you're doing this, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your own family traditions around Easter.
All right. So
but here, what do we got?
Well, usually you can make your own pastry, but I found the easiest way to do it is buy your pastry. It's just a puff pastry, and we stick it out and we put it on the parchment paper. And then we're going to start layering it with apples. And all we're doing is we cut the apples into little moon shapes, and we're just going to start labeling.
So what we did is I went ahead and
peeled them
all, and then cut, and then she did literally tiny, narrow moon shapes. And we're going to do just like this. I get my puff pastry. It's an all butter pastry, which is why I love it so much. It's a puff pastry, so it's going to like rise, but I get it at Whole Foods. And then it's such a yummy dessert. My family loves it for dessert with ice cream, but then we do it also for breakfast. It's just sweet enough for a little tart for breakfast. So we usually don't have any left over, so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. And let me start. I'm going to start mixing this.
Okay.
It's an apricot preserves.
Yes, and you go ahead. And you can mix it with a little rum if you want the rum with it, or you can just mix it with a little bit of water. And I usually put it in the microwave and make it kind of runny.
That's what I'll do. And it's a half a cup of apricot. I don't know that matters because we're going to be brushing it all over the top.
Exactly.
So you can either add a little extra if you want a little extra, or go a little light. I'm going to warm this up.
Okay. And then while she's doing that, I'm just going to keep putting all the apples to make a pretty little design down the tart. And literally, this is such an easy dessert. One of our family traditions is when I was growing up, we went to church every Sunday for Easter. We got up and did early service. I grew up in Durham, and we would go to Duke Chapel to the gardens, and we would sit at 6:30 in the morning in the gardens and have Easter, and it was beautiful. And then after that, my mom and dad would take us to Howard Johnson's, and we would have our Easter brunch at Howard Johnson's, and we would celebrate that as our special Easter service.
I love that. So now what I've done is I've put this in the microwave, the apricot preserves, just so it's not quite so thick and chunky.
Yes.
You have a choice. You can add, a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of rum, or you can just put a couple teaspoons of water in it. We're going to do a little water, I think.
All right, and then I need pats of butter and sugar that I'm going to add to this.
Okay, I'm going to mix this with a little...
All right, I'm going to put the butter on it first before you go there.
You got it. Here's the butter.
And I want little diced up, pieces of butter, please.
Okay. We've got about 4 tablespoons of this butter. Go ahead.
Cut it in half.
Cut it in half. Okay. I'll just start putting them right here for you.
Okay.
One of the other things she was saying that she loved to do, particularly because she has grandchildren right now, but even when she had children, are these resurrection eggs that she had gotten that she would hide in her...
We would hide these all over the house. And what these do is they tell the story of Easter. And you have the tomb and you have the coins, and it tells the story. And the children would find the eggs in the house, and then we would read them at breakfast and tell the story of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his being risen. So that was just a little extra thing to incorporate what Easter was, the hope we have in Easter with Jesus Christ.
So it's so fun. It's fun to learn about every family's traditions. It can all look so different. Here we go.
Now, with grandchildren, we have turned it into a whole afternoon of activities. We have an Easter egg hunt. We have games. We do. And
Do you do
everybody
the hunt at
participates.
your house or
We
somewhere
do the
else?
hunt at our house, and then we have games where we put on the sacks, and the
Oh, yeah.
and the girls and the boys compete against each other. We
Oh, I
have
love that.
the pulling the rope against each other, and every kind of
talking
game
about
we
tug
can
of
think
war.
of, tug of war, everything you can talk about, and we make everybody participate. I mean, that includes sister-in-laws, and it's just fun because we're all outside playing games and just enjoying each other. And then we have an Easter bunny that shows up.
Oh, do you really? Is that Ralph dressing up?
That was Ralph dressed up. I asked him if he wanted to bring it here, and he said he did
said
not
no,
want to
he's gonna
dress it.
pass?
He was going to pass on being the Easter bunny here at your house, but
Okay.
he dresses up, and the little people love that. And then we take a golf cart ride around. I mean, it's just a full afternoon of activities, and then we end up eating a big meal in the dining room, which is really
I
nice.
love that.
Okay,
All
now
right.
I need sugar.
Okay, here we go. We've got the sugar, and it's a half a cup of sugar, and we're just gonna sprinkle it on top like
I'm
this.
tunneling with this.
And the butter, I mean, it caramelizes everything.
Yes.
Anything with butter is better.
Delicious.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, just so good.
There we go. And a little bit later, we're going to show you this fantastic Easter tree that she's put together because you've been collecting eggs.
I
You wanna
have.
share a little bit
I
about
have.
that.
Well, I tried to blow a few of my own eggs.
Oh, have you ever blown
Have you
eggs?
ever blown an egg before?
I have, where you put the pinhole in one side and the other, and you blow
try to
out
get
the yolk
and-
out.
Yeah, not easy.
It's not easy.
And without cracking the egg, that didn't work so well. So I resorted to just buying the eggs. So
Okay.
when we were at Round Top with a couple of girls years ago,
And tell about Round Top. 'Cause
Round
that's-
Top is a fabulous flea market out in Texas.
Texas.
And I mean, we're talking 11 miles on both sides of the street.
A flea
Junk
market.
and beautiful things. And I found this one person who made these eggs. They're made in Russia and they're hand painted. And so I've been able to collect them. And then when I was in New York this Christmas, Harper and I, my little granddaughter and I, found another one. So I've just been collecting and adding, which is so sweet.
Well, and I thought they were ceramic eggs, and they're not. They've been blown out.
They've been blown out and tied with ribbon and hand painted. So either I put them on the plates if I don't do the tree, just to pretty on the plates, or I put them on the tree. So it just kind of depends on.
So we'll
what
show
I'm in
you
the mood
that when
for.
we put this in
Oh,
the
that
oven.
looks delicious.
Does
Good
that look
job,
good?
Ruth. Yes.
So this is going to bake, and it's going to rise. It's going to be absolutely stunning. Here we go. How long does it bake? 400 degrees
Yeah.
for about an hour.
Yeah, and maybe not quite an hour.
Not quite an hour. You don't want them to get. You don't want the apples to get mushy. So we'll check on right around 50 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Good job.
All right. This is going in at 400 degrees. And again, when I smell the apples, we'll make sure we pull these out.